Hello, and welcome back to Cretaceous Cantina, where today we're having a look at the Mattel Jurassic World Destruct-A-Saurs Pteranodon Copter attack set. So far in the US, this appears to be a Walmart.com exclusive. Maybe it'll hit stores, maybe it won't. A lot of mystery surrounding a lot of these Jurassic World exclusives that were supposed to go to Toys R Us originally. Amazon did solicit pre-orders for it, but as of yet they have not received it in stock. I believe some of those pre-orders even got canceled, so it's quite interesting. But either way, I was very happy to see it pop up on Walmart.com for $39.97 last week. It seems like it's gone in and out of stock. I think it's still in stock as of this recording at least, and it's a pretty big set. You can see all of the contents displayed quite nicely within the packaging. Everything seems to be pretty well secured in there. At the back, you can see the toys in action, magnetic destruction, and very interestingly, they're showing another set there that looks to have the Extreme Chompin' T-Rex and maybe a generator and a mercenary figure. There hasn't been a whole lot of information on this particular set. I don't know whether or not it's been canceled or whether or not it will still be coming out in some form, but it is very notable that they do picture it there on the back of the box. And most importantly, for those of you using the Jurassic World Facts app, well, this is a compatible set. Now, I know that if I don't show this, I will get comments asking where it is, so there is the UPC right there. And once you get the set unboxed, here you have your helicopter, your Pteranodon, and your ACU pilot figure. So in typical Mattel Jurassic World fashion, you have an action figure that has some pretty good posability, but is a little bit light on the paint applications. The figure has good proportions, it's realistic enough. I do like the look of the costume quite a bit, even if it isn't completely movie accurate to what we saw in Jurassic World. At the very least, it looks nice, and as long as it interacts well with the helicopter and the Pteranodon, then that's what's most crucial here. So when you look at this guy up close, first thing that I think of is the mercenary figure that comes packed with the little Dimorphodon. It actually looks pretty similar to that, although it's a little different. I guess there's not a whole lot you can do when you have a little action figure of a dude with sunglasses and a helmet on. But overall, it's decent. I do like the look of that helmet on him. Again, the costume might not be completely accurate to what we saw in Jurassic World when the ACU troopers boarded with Simon Masrani onto the helicopter to take out the Indominus Rex, but I think they did a fair job at it. I do like this more metallic look of the vest that he's wearing. I guess it's like a bulletproof vest or some sort of a combat vest, and he's got a dark blue jacket underneath, or dark blue shirt with black gloves on. That looks good. Combat pants and combat boots, of course. And this is all basically just like a really dark gray, a charcoal color. Looks good for the most part. Peg holes on bottom for articulation. You actually have a ball joint here at the neck, so you can go up a little bit. You can rotate. Same with both of the shoulders. Good movement there. Elbows, same thing. Full 90 degrees. Rotate it. Here at the waist, you do have a swivel, which is kind of nice. And then ball hinges at both of the hips. It does look a little funny when you do a full split. And I do get a little concerned looking at this because if you look in there, you can see these little tiny pins that are actually connecting those hinges onto the legs. So I would be a little careful with that. You definitely don't want to break that. And then here at the knees, of course, you can get those to bend, you can rotate them, and the legs do move forward as well. So overall, he's got the articulation he needs, and that's what's most important. All right, looking at the Pteranodon, you can actually see that it looks pretty similar to what we saw with the Rorivores Pteranodon that came out in Wave 2. In fact, if you look at them together, we'll just pile them on, they're pretty much the same sculpt. Actually, I think everything is identical except for the torso. That is a little bit different in terms of one feature here. And I suppose I should say it's actually just the lower part of the torso here. But that would be here where you have these weird looking speaker holes and you have the little battery cover right there. But if you look at the top, you do have a button. If you look at the new one for Destruct-A-Saurs, you still have the button. So the top part of the shell is the same, but the bottom part of the shell has actually been retooled to do away with the battery cover and the speaker holes. But everything else is the same. The only difference, of course, is the coloration. Now, I might add that I really do like the colors. It's a very naturalistic paint scheme, and it's very fall looking, very autumn-like in appearance with the shades of orange and browns. I really dig it. Actually reminds me quite a bit of pumpkin pie, looking at that coloration there on the wings. And it's got pretty nice additional colors on there. You can see you have this more metallic sort of orange. It's kind of covering this darker orange, a little bit of a brighter color of orange around the eyes, and the eyes, of course, look pretty good. Basically yellow with a little black pupil. And then that darker orange from the head, of course, goes into the rest of the body throughout. And then the feet are a darker color as well, much darker brown color. Then here on the wings, you do have these highlights right here. These are basically more of a yellowish sort of color. And then if you look at it on the bottom, it's a little bit more plain, a little more simple, kind of like what we saw with the Roarvore's Pteranodon, where it was just green on the bottom. But this one actually has a little more color than that. You can see that you got yellow on the belly, and the feet, of course, are also colored. The sculpt is nice on the Pteranodon. It does seem like it's a little bit bulky, like the chest sticks out quite a bit. But I mean, other than that, it seems to be fairly proportionate. It seems to look pretty good. And it is articulated very similarly, of course, to the Roarvore's Pteranodon. So you can open the jaw, and it opens quite a bit. There's the inside of the mouth. You got a bright pink tongue. You also got a magnet. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. And if you're doing the Jurassic Facts app, you can scan that right there. You can also articulate the wings, just like the other one. You have these metal rivets right there so that you can open it like that. And then same on the other side like that. So you can basically close them and then open them all the way, or open them beyond all the way, however you like. And then at the neck, you do have a ball joint, so you can make it look down a little bit and look up and rotate it around as well. So very nice movement at the head. When you press the button on the Pteranodon's back, it flaps its wings like this. So pretty similar to the action feature on the Roarvore's Pteranodon. It's just that you don't get those really cool sounds this time around. All right, now on to the most important part of this set, of course, the actual helicopter. I was really excited about getting a Jurassic World helicopter because, of course, the helicopter played a pretty prominent role in Jurassic World. In fact, I think there are helicopters in all of the Jurassic films. But to get one that is accurate to Jurassic World was really important, of course, and I think that they did a pretty good job aesthetics-wise. It's blue. It looks pretty close to the blue color used in Jurassic World, which, of course, was the color of the helicopters used by a tour company in Kauai. Hence why they used that color in the movie. It was just easy. You have some white striping towards the back of the helicopter, and of course you get the Jurassic World logo on both sides. Basically just a regular logo on this side, and on the opposite side, it's kind of a backwards logo with the T-Rex facing the other way. And you got the propellers. We'll talk more about those in just a second. We have the landing gear here on bottom. There's the bottom of the helicopter. JW003. I'll need to go back and look at the film to see if that's accurate, but that sounds like it might be correct, what we saw in Jurassic World. Okay, screw holes. Let's talk about screw holes, because screw holes were one of the most unfortunate things of the Hasbro Jurassic World toy line from a few years back. Do you recall watching my review of the Pteranodon with helicopter set that Hasbro put out? Well, do yourself a favor and don't subject yourself to that torture. But I do gotta note we have screw holes, and admittedly, they're not quite as noticeable as what Hasbro did on a lot of their products, especially the dinosaurs, which were the worst offenders of all. But they are there, so I do got to point them out. It's not the end of the world, and in some ways I kind of feel like maybe we should give Mattel a pass on little things like that, considering how great the Jurassic World toy line has been as a whole. But hopefully they limit that type of thing to products like this, and it doesn't become more commonplace. All right, so a couple things here. When you first take this out of the packaging, the propellers up top are positioned in that fashion where they're closed, touching together. So you can prop them open like that. All right, so there's a few different things here. When you first get it out of the box, you install the windshield, you install the landing gear, and then you notice that there is a winch down here. All right, so there is a button right here. When you refer to the instructions, it actually tells you that you need to press the button to spin the rotor blades, and the button is right there. It's that black button. Well, when I took it out of the box, I pressed it once, and then it got stuck, and it hasn't really worked since. A little while ago, I was kind of able to rotate the propellers, and it kind of just pushed itself back out, but then I pushed it again, and it gets stuck, and it's actually not coming out anymore at this point. I was thinking maybe I could take all of those screws out and maybe try and fix it. Or I could just order another one. So I looked at Walmart.com. They were still in stock, so I went ahead and reordered. It's kind of unfortunate. I'm not going to wait for that to do the review because I can only review what actually received, and I think that's the fairest way to go about it. That sucks. I mean, for it to just break right out of the box, I mean, it's just a button, you press it, and it was actually really cool. When it did work, these propellers would just spin really quickly, and it's just a shame that out of the box it broke. There's also a doorway right here. You put that on there, snap it in place, and then you actually need to get your Pteranodon. Remember those magnets I told you about that you have in the mouth here? Well, the one magnet right there. That actually comes into play. No pun intended. So right here at the front windshield, you'll see that there's this little Jurassic World logo silver button right there. So what you want to do is you want to touch that magnet onto the windshield, and it basically pops off the windshield. And then the same back here. So you're going to line that up with the other Jurassic World button right there. And it's a little awkward to maneuver it, but should do the same thing if we get it right. There you go. So that pops open as well. And that's basically the play feature of the Pteranodon tying into the helicopter. So once you go inside the cockpit, you can see that it's pretty simple. There's not a whole lot of detail to see. You can only seat one figure, even though you have a couple of seats in the back. You're not going to get any figures in there. There's kind of like a little grip right there to put your figure in. And you have a joystick right here, which of course is just there for looks. It doesn't do anything. And then a sticker that you can see back over there with the monitors and controls and such. So we'll grab our figure and we will put him in place. All right, dude, go to work. And we'll get him in here. And you kind of got to finesse it a little bit. There we go, push it in place. And this is what I mean. You're not going to fit another figure back there. And obviously you can't even reach the yoke. So yeah, it's close, but not quite. But yeah, he fits in there. As you can see, it is a very crowded fit. He's not very comfortable, but that's the way it's supposed to be. So that's the way it's going to be. We're going to go ahead and reattach these pieces like this. We'll go ahead and get our door back in there because you don't want to fly without a door. That is so unsafe. And there we are. Our pilot is in place, and he's ready to go take on the adventures to be had within Jurassic World. All right, so here at the bottom, you have your winch or your drop line or whatever you want to call it. And you basically just pull it out like that. And it's got a little hook here on bottom. And you can see that there are two handlebars. So you just want to take your figure and you can slide his hands over those handlebars like this. And seems like we should be able to get it. Yep, there we go. And now he's basically hanging on for dear life. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Mattel Jurassic World Destruct-A-Saurs Pteranodon Copter Attack Set. Overall, you guys, I really want to love this set. I don't love it, and I think most of that stems from my disappointment from the fact that the propeller button doesn't work. That's just a huge letdown, especially at the $40 price point. It just feels like a high price point to me. I feel like $30 would have been a little bit more of a sweet spot. Yes, you do get a really nice human action figure. Yes, you do get a really nicely colored Pteranodon. And the helicopter, well, nice when you first look at it, is actually a bit of a letdown once you start actually playing with it. I can see the playability, but I don't think that it's actually that fun. Of course, the inside of the cockpit, you can only fit the one figure. It would have been nice if you could fit two, or you just had a little bit better space in there to fit your figure in there. But for the most part, the copter is just a hunk of empty plastic. The spinning propeller feature was really cool the one time it worked, but the fact that it doesn't work, I don't love this set. I don't hate it either. I just feel like for $30, it would have felt a little bit more on the mark. And of course, if it would have worked 100% as it should have, I probably would have liked it a little bit better as well. Overall, the set, though, for the price point that they're asking for is a little bit lackluster. Of course, if you're collecting the line and you want a Jurassic World-based helicopter, this is still going to be your best overall bet. I don't know that Mattel's going to do another helicopter based on Jurassic World. So in that sense, you're probably going to end up picking it up anyway. I'm glad to have it. I just feel like it should be a little bit better in terms of the offerings and in terms of the quality. Alright my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of the Cantina Chatter podcast, where we will be discussing 25 years of Jurassic Park toys and collectibles. That'll be available here on YouTube as well as on Apple Podcasts and Podomatic. Alright my friends, until next time, bye bye.